I just did
So
start
slow.
stream. I'm just
It's
going
all
straight
good.
into it. I'm not even doing a
Ain't,
start screen.
ain't, yeah, ain't no, it's just us now.
Yeah.
Our starting soon screen is us bullshitting.
Oh, nice.
How we all
Hey.
doing today? Good afternoon. Jim and Josh chat the book deck of many things.
Absolutely.
Jumping on in pretty quick, I guess here. Just forewarning, I've got to do the adult thing and take my kid to his job. That's sad when I get to stay here and do Twitch and you gotta go to work at Michael's and shit.
Oh man, and he's at Michael's. Oh, that's awful.
Hey, his first job.
Well,
job.
I mean, just
Stick it out for 6 months.
That's,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Karenville, USA, baby.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, otherwise, yeah.
Dude, I'm so proud of him on it, though. I mean, he goes to work when he's there. He does a good job. He's on the spectrum, so this kind of customer service interaction is a fucking huge step for him.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it's like you need to go to work. I'll take you to work. So I'll put my shit on site. So Josh is going to be carrying it for about 15 or 20 minutes while I take him to and from. But other than that, we're good to go for a little bit.
Oh, that's right. It's about an hour from now. That's right.
Yeah, about an hour.
Okay.
We got an hour
So in my brain, I was like,
bullshit.
"Oh, we'll be done by then. It's not a big deal." But no, that's right. It's only an hour in.
World time zone change differences.
Yeah.
I guess ironically, it's we did such a stomping, hissing fit about time travel last week, but we live in time travel now. It's not that time yet. What are you talking about? It might be that time for you, but for me, it's not.
It's already 4:30, past 4:30 for me.
3:42, dude. You're crazy.
It's 4:42. What you talking about? I'm living in the
future.
Future.
Oh, I was about to say my European dudes are about to go into tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Or yesterday.
Oh, what was we? Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. So today we're gonna because we all know the deck of many things or book of many things. I'm sorry, is coming out tomorrow. So I thought we'd get ahead of it because I know I've got it pre-ordered, so I got it early. I just pre-ordered it today because I pre-ordered this damn thing physically on the Wizards like actual D&D thing because they were supposed to send me a copy of it early. They did not, so I was like, we should probably talk about it this week before it comes out. So I bought it a second time just so I could have it early.
Son, hopefully you're getting
well, they weren't going to send me the damn code until December any fucking way when the thing ships. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to, if I want to use anything from it, before next month.
You going to get a refund on the other one, or are you going to keep it so you get the physical?
I just want the physical copy. It was quote unquote free to get the digital version of it with the physical.
Dedication to his craft right here, brother. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm not spending a penny on this because this is a player-centric, player-driven book, and I knew someone else was going to buy it. So
yeah. And honestly, like the way that they actually did the book was actually not bad because like I think like the first 6 or 7 chapters of it are for DMs, and then it goes into for players. And then after that, it's kind of like here are ways that you can introduce it into your campaign. Like these are NPCs that you can use, or if you draw certain cards, here's like like monsters that you can use for those like specific cards. Like the one that summons like a demon that chases you. It's like here's a demon you can use for it, kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I've actually because I've only read the beginning of it because I just bought it today. So I've read just kind of the opening stuff to it, but it's actually very interesting. Me as like a newish or newer player, I did not know that the deck had been around for as long as it has. Like it's been around literally since 1E. And it's actually changed like quite a bit throughout the course of it being out as well. Like as far as like how it started, like its lore and stuff behind it. Because like I think right now the lore behind it is that what is it? Astasia made a deal with Ister, the god of fate. I think is what I think I think I have the name wrong.
Sorry, Istus.
Istus, yeah, sorry, Istus, yeah, with the god of fate.
Your gray hawk goddess of fate, yeah.
Yes, in order to save their best friend, and the god made this deck in order to change fate for them, like to change their destinies.
I can't change fate, but you can.
Yes, kind of thing.
As the goddess of fate, I'm beholden to whatever fate that there is, but as mortals, you're not beholden to my mandate. So this is a tool that will allow you to determine your own fate while not determining your own fate because it's still fate.
Yeah. And but apparently this like magical artifact was like so freaking powerful that it multiplied throughout the multiverse, and like different
Mm,
versions of it exist in different realms. So it might be like this realm has 13 cards, this realm has 22, or like Ravenloft might have like the deck of many terrors instead of the deck of many things, stuff like that.
mhm.
um but yeah, I was finding like the lore of it is like very very interesting to me. I want to say it was
Yeah.
like either 4E or 3E, I think it was, where it was talking about how Ister will give out the deck to leprechauns in order for them to use it as a test of greed, where it's
Mm,
like, here, we're going to give you this super powerful deck, don't use it, kind of thing. And I'm like, that's kind of
yeah.
fun, where it's just like it's just this thing that nags in the back of your players' minds. Don't use it. Don't use it. It's a test. um, um, I was also I really found the Thieves Guild thing kind of very interesting. I was talking to you about that earlier, Jim. Where their compound is set up where it's like each door in the compound, in order to progress through it, is imbued with one of the cards, and in order to get into their compound, you have to, like, in order to get through the doors, you have to pull the card and take whatever it is. So this is
Yeah.
supposed to be like a resource management puzzle, kind of is what it's supposed to be, because it's like, what does your party do when they get to the door where it separates one of your party's soul from their body? What happens when you get to a door and that player gets sucked into a fucking void prison?
Mm.
And it's just kind of like how do you like manage this throughout like a campaign, or throughout that, I guess, module or dungeon, I guess it would be. um
It depends on how you played it out, I guess.
yeah, I,
You
I
couldn't play it out as a single adventure. That's entire, as you're saying right there, that's entirely too resource intensive.
yeah,
The level gaps between one and the other are so dramatic and so extreme, that you couldn't do it through one playthrough without changing it all up. And then kind of what we've been joking about. If you got to change it up so much that it's not what it was, is it was really worth doing?
yeah,
Kind of like we were talking about, in my stream about the Doom Grinder. I pulled out the mod. Now that we're not doing, I pulled the module out, showed all the maps for it, showed all the orders of battles, and based on A, B, and C, I have to change so much of this to even give them a chance at it. It's really not the dungeon, so why are we playing it? At that point, just don't do it.
um
Come up with you've created so much new stuff to run in the framework of what wouldn't work. But yeah, I think with that being said, that would be an excellent 10th level, 8th level, 10th level fuck around and find out type of an adventure. You've got the
yeah,
resources for most of what's in that deck at that point.
yeah,
A lot of it's going to be cakewalky. And the plus side, if you're 8th to 10th level, when you're getting that stuff, it's not as impactful when it's the good stuff.
yeah.
10,000 gold doesn't mean as much to a 10th level character as it does to a 3rd level character.
I
You
I
know,
would say that drawing a card and suddenly having an entire keep would completely change how your campaign runs, though.
it's going to be a lot more manageable at 10 than at 3.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, suddenly players are like, "Hey, we gotta, you know, like resource this thing up. We got to get people to actually like, work
Do
for
they?
us in this place." I mean, I guess their option is to just leave it, let somebody else take the keep. That's also an option, but I think most players are gonna be like, "Oh shit, we just got this fucking awesome giant building. Let's use it."
Who says it's got to be awesome and giant? It could be a decrepit ruin, falling apart, and nothing.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's up to DM discretion.
It could be a keep,
I
by definition, is a 40-foot by 40-foot two-story compound that can defend itself.
I
That's
believe
just a big ass building.
I believe somewhere
I'd
in
rather have
here.
Daird's Entrance Fortress than a keep.
I mean, yeah, same. I believe it's somewhere in here. It does like give
Tell
you
you
a
the specs.
map.
Go for it.
Like, well, I'm just saying. I think that somewhere in here, I think it gives you a map for it if you wanted to do it. Oh,
Yeah.
this is what I was talking about earlier with you, Jim, before we came on. So there are things that like they have broken it up into different decks if you want to use them in campaign, so it has less effect on changing things.
Hmm.
So like they've broken it up into the starter deck, the role playing focus, the lighthearted, and the deck of horrors, right?
Hmm.
So the starter deck, it is it's potentially, you can use it for low level characters potentially as low as first level, which comes with the Comet, Fates, Fool, Key, Knight, Rogue, Ruin, Sage, and Talons. So like none of them are like that big of a deal. Like I think like at most it's going to give your players like better spell focus stuff for like warlocks, like as far as like the sage card, it'll power them up like even more. So I mean, that's the thing. Um, but then you have like your role playing one. This is for people who are more into like clearly role playing than other stuff. And it gives them the balance, fate, flames, knight, rogue, ruin, sage, and thorn cards. Um, the lighthearted one says that it is it's just the ones that kind of want to fuck around and find out. That's what that one's for. That gives you
Hmm.
the Comet, Fates, Fool, Gem, Jester, Key, Night, Moon, Ruin, Sage, Star, Sun, and Thorn. I'm sorry, this is Throne. I can't read. I'm flipping letters around. I got dyslexia. And then like, your deck of horrors is like all of the bad shit is in that deck, you know. So like Balance Common, the John, uh, Uriel. I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. I think it's Uriel.
Spell it.
Euryale. Uriel.
There you go.
Uriel. Flames, Fool, Jester, Puzzles, Rogue, Ruin, Skull, Talons, and Void. And we can go through some of these cards if people don't know what they are, but I would say look into them. I mean, the deck of many things is available right now. Before this ever came out, the deck has always existed in 5e. Um, but I, I do find it kind of interesting, like how they've gone about making the deck over the years as well, right?
Hmm.
Because like originally, it was set up to face cards, aces, jokers. Is just like use these cards and that's your deck. And then when I want to say 2E came out, they were like, no, it's actually based off of the tarot, and it's 22 cards, just like a standard tarot deck is. And
Hmm.
they gave them suits and names because originally they weren't named. Apparently, I didn't know that, but like the cards were just not named.
Yep.
I want to say it wasn't until third or fourth edition where they actually drew the back of the cards finally, because like nobody knew that there was even a back on the cards, and then it wound up being.
Wasn't necessary.
I mean, yeah, it's still not necessary. Who cares? But like, apparently the back of the cards are supposed to be a white and a black dragon like intertwined with each other because it's supposed to be like, oh, it's pick your fate, good or bad, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, which I mean, I guess symbolically is kind of neat. But I don't know how you would look at the back of these cards without drawing one, though. I'm just saying.
And that therein lies the rub. When they were designed, they weren't supposed to look any different than any other deck because it was the possibility of an accidental find.
Yeah,
It's just a deck of cards, and you pulled out the deck, and and you're playing with a deck of 52 cards, and then you pull the wrong jack, and all of a sudden something fucked up happened.
so that'd be cool. I think that'd be
That
way.
was their day one idea in design, because that way there wasn't even but a
Oof. We just.
5% probability of even pulling one of the triggering cards on your normal deck.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean that was the OG design of it, but yeah, since then it's become what we're talking about now.
That's actually like a much cooler idea. Not gonna lie, like I think that's way more interesting than this deck where everybody knows that it's magical, especially now because like they've gone, oh, actually people can add to it. It's this uniquely powerful, like ridiculous object that's so powerful it multiplied throughout the multiverse. But if you're like really strong and really in tune with the goddess of fate, then you can make your own card that can become like canon within the deck. I don't buy that.
Why not, man? Player
Um,
empowerment, bro.
I do like the idea of there have been people that have attempted to make the deck
Yeah.
and they've made fucked up versions of it where they don't work
Mhm.
correctly. I do like that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, a curse deck, yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense for that to exist. Because people would definitely do that. Like, okay, well, we've got this magical item, let's make copies of it, kind of thing. Humans,
Mhm.
especially with their hubris, are gonna be like, yeah, we can definitely do that.
Mhm. I got this fool. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So
but
I mean,
go ahead.
go ahead. No,
I
go
was
for
going
it,
to
dude.
say
You're leading.
as the way that it's built out right now, though, it is very MacGuffin-y. It is going to be something that is just kind of dropped into your players. They do give a few options for how to get it into your game if you want to put it into your game. One of them is like a fortune teller named Alzlez. And he's a Nimbarod, I think is what he is. Um, and he can you can make deals with him to get single cards. but like it's going to cost like a lot of stuff for them to do that. But he will breed your fortune with the deck, and that's how you can like introduce it into the game. Is like, yeah, he has the deck of many things, and he uses it to tell fortunes with it because it doesn't affect him.
Interesting.
Yeah. They do have one where it could be part of a dragon horde as well. They actually even have it built into like a specific red dragon has it. Which is it's like, yeah, your party's not going to be able to go in here and fight a red dragon and get this thing out, but but oftentimes, Mystique and Guile can get you further than strength, is what it says. um and then it also gives one of there are I don't know the name of the group off the top of my head, but it was saying that there's a group that exists out there in the multiverse that actually goes from plane to plane, dropping decks into people's bags as just a way to fuck with them. They're just like, here's a deck that like could alter like fate for these mortals, and they just want to see what happens, and they'll just drop it into people's backpacks.
And that will be the most used way for it.
Oh, 100%, 100%. People will just find one in their bag. That could be fun as far as like a D&D Beyond thing as a DM though, to just like put it on a player's like inventory sheet and just say nothing to them about it and see how long it takes them to figure it out. I can see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah. Interesting mechanic to spice up a long running group.
Yeah, yeah. And with the way that they have it set up, you can cut and splice and make the deck as long as they still have to have those cards within them, but it doesn't have to be a full deck at any point in time. Like it could be literally what Jim said if you really wanted to mess around with it, from like the 1E thing where it looks like a jack and it's in a normal deck of cards. There's no reason it can't be. But.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I haven't looked at it, so I don't want to speak too far on it.
No, that's fine.
I know the OG deck of the many things, and it's something manageable as long as you've got some background knowledge and some quick ability to be able to play. It can be game breaking if you're not prepared, or if you let your players run amok anyway. Your campaign's already broken. It's the whims of the players anyway, so a deck of the many things isn't going to do anything else. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and some people do play really fast and loose with their campaigns where it's just like, fuck it, this is what we're doing now kind of stuff, instead of there being any kind of structure to it. Some DMs play their games like that. It's just like, okay, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I would say that I don't think that either one of us is like huge on the deck of many things. I think the book is fun to read about, and like the lore of it's super interesting. But like I'm not super big on putting it into a campaign. I made that mistake real early on. And I will I would not do it again.
Yeah. Well, again, because there's very little consequence for action in 5e versus older editions. It's more acceptable to use it now because there's the game. When we say game breaking, it's more of a bigger, shinier carrot in front of your player's face than what you thought your story was. Is what you're gonna have the potential with the I mean, modern D&D. It's more about the here and now in front of me right fucking now than it is about what are we supposed to be trying to do with the story. If the here and now isn't engaging and entertaining, the what we're doing long term will never matter to them. So you can use the deck of many things as something to put something shiny, the laser pointer, as it were, for your group of fucking cats to focus on something for a minute. Maybe. I mean, so there's some potential uses for it if you're a DM that's capable of agitating randomness. But if you're removing all but this card and this card and this card out of it, then just do a little bit better job of fucking writing and plan an adventure around what's on that card instead.
Yeah, that actually is one of their suggestions as well. Is to not is to let players get the cards, and it doesn't just go off. It affects the campaign within the future. Like you could pull the Void Prison card, and your character's not immediately going into getting such into a prison, but now this has informed the campaign where later on this is going to be a thing that happens, or it can like change the trajectory of the campaign based off of that. That is actually like a suggestion they give for it. So yeah, it's a good call. Jim should write these books. Man's not even read it. And he's like, hey, here's a good idea, and 100%. Um, I think that they've tried to be very careful with this one because this is one of the few of them that I've read in a while where it's not just like here's some playthings because like they still have the bad cards in the deck. They didn't try to fix them. All they've done is change the name of two cards, I think.
Yeah.
So like I think it was like one of them was the Vizier and they changed it to the Sage now, and I can't remember what the other one was, but they changed it to the Rogue now.
Well, and to be honest with you, I mean, the last couple things they've done have not been bad. The Dragonlance book was a good modernization of some of the themes and concepts while still respecting and honoring what was there with Krynn. The Planescape books, as much as I grumped about what was left out, what they did cover, they did a good job with. You can play around in Sigil and make it your own with just what's in that book. You can go the Outlands and play around with the Gate Towns with just what's in those books and be perfectly fine. And they didn't contradict any of their older stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't read this to see that, but it's good to see the lot more of a, hey, we're not, we're respecting the source material.
I was gonna say this
because I mean,
about what they did in this one is kind of like,
well, it's
we're gonna this is what already existed. Here's just more to
yeah.
do with it. Is kind of what they did.
And I mean, I know we had this argument before about new stuff being reprinted versus old stuff being reprinted and how people want new stuff, but we're talking about Hasbro.
Yeah.
They know what they've sold more of, and if they've sold more Tales of the Yawning Portal than they sold Rime of the Frost Maiden, then they know we need to make more old stuff than we try to make new stuff.
Yeah.
So straight up, they know the market value, and that's probably why they've gone back to these older marketable products, connecting with fools like me who, I mean, I'm up to 5e right here. I ain't gonna lie. But a lot of my brethren are still out there in 1e, 2e land flipping the bird at 5e, but then when they start hearing that 5e is doing a decent job of respecting it and everyone else is playing it, I mean, some of them are just on principle. I would rather do math for 11 minutes to figure out my attack hit than play 5th edition. Fuck you. And you ain't going to change their mind.
Yeah.
But there are people that, I remember that have been on the fence in the older editions, and that's why they make sure, like in this book where they put this is how we're connecting you to your past, old man. Or, hey, new kid, this is what you've been playing. What you think is new isn't really that new. And this is how, guess what? You're connected to your past, kid.
Like literally,
so it's a good thing.
Yeah, literally the opening of this book is the history of the deck of many things. Like it's like, here's what it was in 1E and 2E and 3E, 4E. Like it just gives you the entire history. It's even like, it was introduced in Dungeon 17 and like stuff like that.
Like, good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, we're talking about the deck of many things. Oh, those people, but yeah, just but I'm thinking that it's not a bad thing for it to exist.
Yeah,
it's typical of Hasbro's marketing, appealing to both the new person who doesn't know much about this and then the old person who recognizes it for what it is, and actually making a viable product that covers both sides of it. So, I mean, yeah, I gotta from the way you're making it sound, I haven't looked at it. You just got it. I guess we just got it unlocked this morning, huh?
Yeah, I just got it today. Yeah, and I was trying to read it while at work, so like I'm not very far into it.
Yeah, I was been campaign prepping all day, so I didn't. When I sit down to read it, I want to sit down for 3 or 4 hours and read it and then reread it type thing.
I was literally at work at the end of the day with my phone in front of me, people talking to me, just like, trying to read it.
But it the fact that now one thing just on the idea of it, and I'll see how it goes. I like that they have recognized that this is something, and from what you're saying, they're providing the guidance, the information to say, hey, you can't just throw this thing into your campaign and expect it just to be something silly and fun without a lot of customization.
Yeah.
But it's like, did they build a campaign around the deck in itself, or is it mini adventures that are based off of the cards?
I have not seen the campaign in it yet. I don't believe there is one in it. What it seems to be, as far as I've read, is like, here's how you work around this card within your game. This seems to be what it is.
So, for example, I'm going to pull up a thing and look at it. So let's look at the chapter 15. We'll look at the throne card, seeing as you can pronounce it. Okay.
Yes.
A character who draws the throne card from a deck of many things gains ownership of a keep. But how big is the keep and what are its defenses and layout? What lives in the keep now and must the characters do to secure it? Exactly what I was saying when you brought it up earlier.
Yeah.
Just because it's a keep don't mean it's like a fucking keep. I mean, it's got to match the terms of a defensible fortress, or at least one point in time was defensible.
Yeah.
Or maybe a keep that you have the right entitled to, but it's currently occupied.
Yeah. Introducing Harrow.
You know?
Harrow Hall?
Harrow Hall, a character who draws a throne card from a deck of many things, has a fleeting vision of a keep surrounded by a dry moat. Fog swirls across the grounds, and the castle appears abandoned by its owners. Instead of courtiers and guards, spectral figures appear behind narrow windows, and a huge serpentine creature slithers through its courtyard. Oh, look, occupied. Motherfucker's reading my mind, right? Nonetheless, the stone walls are tall and undamaged. An astronomical observatory boasting several telescopes surmounts the second floor of the inner structure. Harrow Hall would make a fine stronghold for a group of adventurers, but it won't be easy to claim. Kind of like Castle Muckos, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my point. You hit a certain point in your campaign where this is really a cool item, and it's not unbalancing.
Yeah.
It builds into what you're trying to do. So this is, kind of what I was talking about earlier, that, or what you were bringing up and what I would mention. It's a great thing that you can use to focus your campaign at certain points. It's MacGuffin heavy. Josh called it that. But you got to be very, very cautious as a DM, in my opinion, of putting just the one throne card into a deck that, pick a card, any card, you pick the throne. Pick a card, any card, you pick the throne. Come on, man.
Yeah. No, 100%.
So it's giving you information about placing it in a location appealing to the characters, but useful to your campaign. This is up to you as a DM. This isn't a keep that just magically appears when they draw the card, and that's what I think a lot of people think. Yeah. Is you've drawn the card, and whatever's on the card happens right in front of you. The ground splits asunder, and a grand hill and mountain crawl towards the sky with a magical castle that says "Welcome home, Jim" scrawled across the top of it. No, it's not that.
That's kind of interesting. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that most of the book seems to be that, where it's like here's what the card is, here's what it does, here's how you deal with it, kind of stuff. Whereas the decks existed in 5e the entire time 5e has been out. Mm-hmm. So this just seems to be like a let's make rules to help people with it kind of thing.
Suggestions.
Yes. One of I actually really dug was I don't remember which card it is. I want to say like the skull card is what it is. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But
the Grim Harrow.
Yes, them.
Okay.
Because that sounds really freaking cool to me.
An Avatar of Death.
Yes. So it's one of those things where it's like an Avatar of Death comes in, and like if it kills you, you become an undead. But you are an undead as long as the deck of many things exists. You are an undead. You cannot get out of it. Nobody can fix you. So apparently there's a group of undead that have gathered that their whole mission is to gather these decks out of the multiverse and destroy them. So they will find people that have these decks and just relentlessly attack them until they can get it from them. I think that's kind of like a fun little thing that you could throw.
Now, what you have to be cautious about is taking anything here as a have to.
Right. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just saying like that's one of the things that it says like
an option.
Yes, I'm just saying it says these people exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be someone that's going to get this book and argue with your DM. No. And,
and they actually built a
reading comprehension is a thing. Yeah. Go back to fucking school and learn it.
They actually built a thing in just for stuff like that as well. Within that, there is a counter group of people that are like, no, the deck has to exist, and they are constantly fighting them. So it could be like yeah, sure, it says that in the book. It says that in the book, but they're too busy fighting with the other group right now for it to be a thing that happens. So like even rules is written, they gave the DM a way to go no.
But yeah, so that it's hold on a second. I got a comment. Just a heads up, one of you is having some sort of repetition or feedback. I'm hearing you both super quietly about the second after you speak. and you're over on my side, so that's probably going to be on my side. Thanks for the heads up. I had a what's it called? Update on. Let me see here.
You might have like a audio input and desktop audio both on or something like that.
Yes. Let me make
Yeah,
sure
I've done that multiple times.
No, I've just got the desktop audio feeding in, but it's filtering through noise gate equalizer. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that later. Fuck. Say something, Josh.
Something, Josh. Hi, everybody.
Let me see if I can get you through. Say something, Josh.
Oh my goodness.
That might be a little better. That might be a little better now.
Oh, trying to figure out why there's just all of a sudden a bunch of fucking.
How you doing, everybody? Yeah, right.
Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
So yeah, the what's it called? The deck, the book for the deck looks pretty interesting. Like I said, I gotta kind of dig into it. But what I'm hoping from this now is that we'll actually get to where people are maybe inspired and starting to realize that this is an idea for an adventure that may not fit with the card, but I can borrow this for something else.
Yeah.
Or ooh, this is how I can use this thing to drive this point home. The thing that I'm afraid of, because yeah, I was kind of thumbing through it. It's got some really cool adventure ideas, but and by design, they're all dependent on the deck's presence. But by design of the deck, the way it is, if you have all of the deck in play at the same time, it won't work. So by design, you have to use exclusionary purposes when you use the deck if you're going to use these effects.
Yep.
That's one of the big downsides that I'm going to say. If you're going to depend on the effects that are listed for each card by each chapter, a lot of them are incompatible. So then you're forced back to what Josh was talking about really early on about saying, well, we'll take these 4 cards out of the 22 and make that work for our deck because these 4 cards don't work with these 8 cards.
Yeah.
So that's not based. So maybe you don't necessarily take it as it's written. You adjust it to fit your scenario. So yeah, these, yeah, that's why I was kind of saying be very cautious about saying this is now saying you have to do this. Fuck no, you ain't got to do shit. You have a cool idea in front of you that because for example the deck of many things, the Avatar of Death and the Grim Harrow, now you're saying to someone, if you're going to use the deck of many things, you have to have this faction in your game. And they would be there anyway without the deck being present in play because they're pursuing the entire thing. So you don't have to do that. But it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's a really cool idea.
I think that, yeah, I absolutely agree. And that could be 100% a thing if your party like is aware of the deck of many things and they're super charged about it. Okay, cool. We'll get you the deck, and now you are constantly being attacked by a group of fucking undead people that you can't get rid of because they're just going to come back.
But that now again there, maybe now that shit. I'll never do it, so I can safely talk about it. I can see a lot of DMs making the mistake of trying to make a campaign around the deck of many things now, because this book is going to encourage a mid-tier DM to do just that.
Yeah.
This book is going to fuck a new DM up.
Yeah.
Fuck a new DM up.
And
they're going to read it exactly as it's written, because that's what you learn. You don't know yet. You don't know nuance. You don't know balance. You don't know any of that. So a new DM that starts trying to put the deck of many things in because they just got the cool Christmas present and the cool, you're gonna have a jacked up campaign for the first few times. It's okay. We all learn the hard way. I know that because I had some fucked up campaigns and adventures when we used the deck of many things.
Yeah.
These guys in my Tuesday Grainhog campaign, when they first got a bag of beans, they thought it was gonna be this big old huge deal, and it's like. I can manage a bag of beans without interrupting my campaign. I promise y'all. You know, it's not a big deal because I have experience and context. You might find yourself in a pinch if you don't have experience and context trying to put the deck of many things into your campaign, even if you do the stripped down version of it. And if you strip it down to the point where you can manage it as a brand new DM, don't do it. Just don't use it.
Yeah.
Wait 10 sessions and try it. Wait till the next campaign and try it. It's okay. You don't have to have everything in the game in your first campaign all at once
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah, yeah. Especially if you're homebrewing, like that's your own world. Shit can exist or not exist at your whim. You know, just because it
homebrew
exists.
and homebrewing canon.
Yeah.
If you're playing in the Forgotten Realms, there does get over the expectation as DMs and as players that you have to conclude every single thing about D&D in your campaign. You're not going to have the time for it. You're not going to have the bandwidth for it, and you get so much shit it's going to dilute itself. You know,
Yeah.
don't feel like, I mean, that's why we have themes in our campaign, in the campaign books. You know,
Yeah.
and the ones that try to do too much feel kind of meh. The ones that really do a laser tight focus on the specific cults and the Prince of the Apocalypse and the elemental cults. 80% of your bad guys in that book are humanoid. 80% of the enemies that you fight in the Temple of the Prince of the Apocalypse are going to be humanoids, but they're going to be spellcasters. They're going to be assassins. They're going to be fucking archers. Your party's fighting themselves for most of that campaign. You know, you don't get the whole spread of things, and it shouldn't feel the same way about magic items and loot and stuff like that either. You know, save yourself some stuff in your toolbox for your next campaign or your next campaign or your next campaign. If you're thinking about using the deck of many things, make sure you know your group before you throw that fucker in there. You know, there's
Yes.
certain groups that this would never hit the freaking table on. No,
Yes.
I mean, I just threw 22 squirrels into the game. You know,
Yeah.
so even if I can manage it, my players can't.
Yeah, that's fair. That's completely
They
fair.
could.
I
There are
mean,
certain things that you can go ahead,
I was
please.
I was gonna say like look at our Sword Coast campaign, like that got given to us, and like me as an actual person, like as a player, was like no, and immediately gave the deck to the most responsible person in our party because I know that they're never going to pull it, like they're not going to do anything with it. It's like you take this because you're going to forget that you have it and you're never going to use it.
I was about to say it wasn't so much responsible as
Yeah.
much as she's a barbarian. All she cares about is being almost naked and hitting shit with an axe. She doesn't dig into her bag for stuff. So yeah, that was the safe pull. Is she forgot about it?
Yeah.
We all know about it, but ain't you know, well, here's the thing. Me and you know about it. She knows about it. The crazy people probably have forgotten about it. They forgot that there was a necklace of fireball that got stolen from each other. Um, you know, and it's like I don't want to do that to that DM.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
I mean, it's just I don't want their experience level isn't at the point to make that into an enjoyable or entertaining for anybody and keep their campaign afloat.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
I have a
Like I made,
responsibility. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's what I was saying. I made the
Right.
same mistake, like because I had a player that was like, "Oh man, have you heard about this thing? Oh, I want this thing so bad." And so like I made like a little side quest thing where they could get it, and it was a
Yeah.
bad idea. It was a bad idea. So,
So yeah, I mean, there's certain things you gotta be ready for, man. And you know, RTFM is the key. Read the fucking manual. Read the fucking room.
yeah,
Is your table able to play with this in an enjoyable, mature? Because here's the thing, guys. You know, this is me talking to dungeon masters as much as anyone else. We still got to have fun too.
yeah,
And if you're so stressed out over the idea of having to manage all the crazy shit that could pop up in here, man, the cat is a big old chunky cat running around, rocking my whole camera. But if it stresses you out to have to use it, then don't use it.
yeah,
Your players aren't going to quit your campaign because you didn't put the deck of many things in. If they do, then they did you a favor. They did you a favor. You know, that's okay. When you're ready to play it is when you play it as a dungeon master. Your players want everything. You know, I mean, even the guys that have been with me for a long time, I think that I've trained them to not ask for dumb shit, and they still ask for dumb shit, and it's okay. You know,
yeah. No,
it's like
this is true. It's not. Yeah. Hey,
that's part of playing.
can I have two immovable rods?
How about no? Only if I can use the unstoppable force. What's that? I'll make it up when it's time.
Oh man. Oh.
His brain just went.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't even know what this is gonna happen. Because I would unmake a world if I did that. I'd be like, nope, sorry.
Right.
Bingo, boom. Those two things collide.
So yeah, Deck of Many Things is one of those things. The Demonicon of Igwilv is another one of those things. These big, potentially game-changing type things. I don't think, honestly, the Deck of Many Things has got the most potential for moment-to-moment change if you don't read and handle it right.
Yeah.
There's certain things that happen poof on the spot. There's certain things that don't have to happen poof on the spot.
So,
Like the keep was a good example. They just know that they have this, and that's okay. The prickles on the back of your neck, the hairs on the back of your neck start standing up as you hear a whisper, "Coming for you." And you look over your shoulder and there's nothing there. And as you walk away looking over the shoulder again, you just see this black cloaked figure with just partial of a skull, and you scream and everyone looks back and there's nothing there. And you pick the skull card, and you are
I'd be irresponsible as a DM with that. I'd be like, "Oh man, sorry, you just got woken up in the middle of the night. Oh, I'm sorry. It's exhaustion."
As silly and as fun as that is, that's a genuine mechanical thing that's going to affect your campaign.
Yeah.
One night of that happening every third or fourth night, if you did it 2 or 3 nights in a row, you've got 1 or 2 of your people. I mean, actually, it's going to be your whole person, because by the second night, your dude's going to wake up screaming, going to wake up everyone else.
Yeah.
If everyone jumps into battle-ready state, guess what? Everyone's exhausted level 1. You're exhausted level 2. Yeah, so it's something you could very easily abuse, like you're saying, or very easily manage an encounter situation in your favor as a DM with the same technique. I need these fuckers exhausted when we go in here.
100%.
I need them swinging with disadvantage. That way, this group of specters is scary as shit. Your whole party goes into an encounter. Your level 14 party goes into an encounter exhausted, and you show 10 kobolds, they're going to fucking run around in a panic just because they got disadvantage, man. Yeah. You still got plus 18 to hit, but it's a disadvantage.
Yeah, that should stack too.
That should stack.
But
that's funny as hell.
So let me ask you about this, because while reading this, I saw that there was a campaign that seemed like it was built around the Deck of Many Things that is called The House of Cards. It came out in 2E.
That was a Dragon Magazine book, though.
Yes.
Wasn't it a Dragon Magazine? So it was only official if you had a subscription to Dragon Magazine.
Yeah, they're counting it as official, which is wild.
That's cool. But Dragon Magazine.
I wasn't sure if you knew Dragon Magazine or not.
Yeah, Dragon Magazine was published by TSR.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was. So yes, technically anything that was published in Dragon, 200 or 300 plus issues, that fucking thing, is considered canon and legal for ruling, even if it's an optional rule, because it was written by the entire staff of TSR as monthly supplemental updates. We didn't get web updates. We didn't get patch updates. That was Dragon Magazine. But yeah, if you didn't have a subscription, you didn't have the adventure, and I didn't have a subscription. I bought based on cover art, either Bad Monster or Hot Chick. So my Dragon Magazine collection was kind of spotty. There's,
No, that's fair.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was joking about. One of those things that we, that I was talking about in my stream earlier. Sometimes we forget we're looking at all this old shit with 45 years of hindsight.
Yeah.
You only saw what you saw at B. Dalton or at Lone Star Comic or at Walden Book when you went there. And if it wasn't in stock, you didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's straight up a lot of stuff that in certain regions of the country you didn't get just because the distributor didn't carry it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Comic
shops, they'd be like, I don't have anybody that's going to be buying this, so I'm not even going to order it. Yeah.
So yeah, so we were in such a closed in box of what you had access to and your friends had access to, and no more and no less. And that's our world of D&D until my birthday. And then I'm supposed to get the Fiend Folio, and I think my mom's gonna get me 2 more modules. And then all of a sudden, your D&D world tripled in size. And then Christmas, homie brings a new couple modules. So it was. We were so, we talk about the good old days, but at the good old days, because we were so dependent on our own imaginations. Yeah. The game didn't exist if we didn't spend the time building everything outside of it and making up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Straight up, the rule of cool, that was standard operating. Rule of cool now. That was SOP in the day. That was standard operating procedure.
There's definitely things stopping that from happening. Saf over here, he said
Oh,
nothing is stopping the wizard from mending a bag of whole flour into wheat.
mending a bag of flour into wheat.
Yeah.
You'd have to throw some Presto in there, but yeah, it could happen. Oh, grain by grain?
I
Could you?
guess
No.
technically it's just ground wheat, so I guess technically, but it would take you forever. It would take you a
'Cause you're-
fucking
you're-
week to
you're-
get one grain.
I was about to say, because it's 1 minute per cast, and and yes, I have to say, in hindsight, rule as written, Saf, you're correct.
Yeah.
You could take every fragment of flour and in 1 minute adjoin it to the next grain of flour and the next till you get back to your wheat. You could do it.
Would a really long time.
Just because you could doesn't mean you should. I'd be a dick about it and say, okay, that's fine. This character is going to be busy for the next week making a pound of wheat out of a 50-pound bag of flour.
Have fun.
Hop to, yeah, hop to.
Oh man.
But yeah, it could be done. Very much so. Very much so. But yeah, so I mean, that's funny. Got me all kind of distracted. I got about 20 minutes, FYI, and then I got to run the kid to work. I'll be off camera for about 10 minutes. 15-ish. The intersection right there get kind of busy at this point in the day. But yeah, Josh, you guys can carry the conversation there.
Come talk.
And I'll forewarn you before I go. Yeah, I'll forewarn you on my side before I go if you want to jump over to Grizzly 10 Pins and bullshit with them while I'm gone.
Yeah, you guys can just throw random questions at me, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. I'm
Yeah.
nowhere close to being as knowledgeable as Jim about any fucking thing, but I'll do my best.
Well, I mean,
I'll do my best. I'll bullshit
I
you some
read-
stuff.
I read books and I know shit. That kind of be what I'm doing. I'm not gonna, it is what it is. It's okay.
Yeah.
But and that's why I was joking about with my stream the other day, but it wasn't a joke. There has yet to be a stream or a conversation with you or with them where even if my perception was shifted slightly, something, how I feel about something may not be as admin as it was before, all the way to going, damn, them dudes are right. So it's a great opportunity. So what if I know a bunch of shit?
Yeah.
Knowing stuff and actually applying it in play are two different things. And we can all use help applying shit in play. So I have a whole encyclopedia. It's an embarrassing amount of D&D knowledge in my brain, but it's useless if I can't apply it in a way that's relevant to the players or the
I
situation.
guess it's true. G.I. Joe did tell us that knowing was only half the battle.
There's also nothing stopping the wizard from mending the two golden teeth of the bandit chief together. Yes, there is.
You'd have to touch it.
No, there's not. You'd have to hold him down for a minute. But yeah, I was about to say no, technically, even if they're cast as two separate gold teeth. Shit.
Technically, you could do it.
Yeah, because they were one piece of gold before.
Yeah.
A bitch.
I'm just now imagining a group of guys just holding a bandit key.
5 dudes sitting on that fucking bandit king, and your wizard's like, smile. Why? We're gonna give you a hell of a grill, son.
Just rabbit teeth now.
Right? Well, if I'm a broke ass bandit, that just increased in overall weight, so I might
That's fair.
pop that sucker out and sell it for more money and put a wooden tooth up in there. And man, not have that happen again. Go all George Washington on them assholes. That's funny as hell.
Ooh, no, never mind. I was trying to think about diamonds, but I was like, all you could do, you would have to have the shavings of the diamond. But you could make a bigger diamond. That's all you could do. You couldn't make it back into coal.
Right. Interesting concept, but yeah, man. So I mean, whether it's knowledge about items, it's important to know your stuff. The Book of Many Things is a great source to help you with that, man. I mean, it's just kind of, that's why you guys see me kind of looking away, because I've been kind of scrolling through it now that we're talking about it, and some interesting stuff in here. I can't say that I'm a fan because I haven't read it, but I'm certainly intrigued by it. It looks pretty cool.
It's not a badly written.
I enjoy anything that's going to give us more tools to play with. As long as the only thing I always get concerned with when a new 5e book comes out is the newer players going, "Oh, it's written. It has been said by Hasbro that every keep shall be named Harrowshire." No,
No,
fucking y'all, come on.
see the thing that I always
Guidelines,
worry
man.
about is
And
the
more
power creep.
guidelines is good. Is the what?
I always worry about the power creep. That's what I always worry about. That's why I'm glad the feat in this one isn't anything really crazy to write home about. Like you get
Fun.
you get an 8 hour spell store. That's really about it. Your
Yeah.
prestidigitation lets you do stage magic, which I think is so fun. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, if you know, but yes, we talked about it early on in when you're using these items in your campaign is going to be the critical thing as far as level and progress in your campaign. If you drop the deck of many things in on people's first stop off the boat, pray that they're disciplined or plan on your campaign turning into something new. If you drop them on it at the worst opportune time when they're out and about and in the middle of a gucky ass nasty everything going to try to eat them thing and they're low on resources, they have no help and they pull the wrong card, that can end their ass.
yeah.
If they're higher level, lots of resources, lots of stuff going on, they get to the deck of many things and go, huh, that's pretty cool. But if yon lady up there finishes her shit, we ain't gonna have a planet for this deck to do anything on, and they shove it in their pocket and get on with their life.
Yeah. Um, I've
You know?
decided that Saf is not allowed to be a wizard with mins because you're a fucking menace. um, they said, let's not forget that the wizard can use mending to permanently make a puzzle or Rubik's Cube unreplayable. Um, you can 100% mend a fucking puzzle. It would take you a really long time because they're individual pieces, but yeah, you can 100% mend a puzzle into a solid fucking cardboard piece. That's messed up, man.
And I'm all for that from the simple fact that that puts your group one man short for quite a while. That's a
I was
1,000-piece
about to say,
puzzle,
yeah,
son.
yeah.
And that's now that probably about 3,800 cuts. That's not just 1,000 pieces. That's 3,800 cuts. I'm taking off some of the math for the edge pieces, obviously.
Wizards would be
That's
amazing
3,800
plumbers.
minutes. We'll see in 5 years, man. Huh?
He said wizards would be amazing plumbers. They can just mend pieces of pipe and steel together without welding or bolts.
To an extent, maybe.
It would have to be a pipe that was already made, and then you'd have to cut it apart and then put it
Oh,
into place and
no,
then mend
what
it back.
I was about to say, I was about to say, if you're trying to actually meld metal, you're going down back to the molecular level, and then you need to figure out your molarity of mass of the element used by area that was used to figure out your total estimated molecule count based on atomic weight, and then mend each of those.
Do you know?
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
Do you know what I just recently found out about?
There's a chemical formula to do it. There is a mathematical formula in chemistry to figure out how many moles worth of stuff would be in that area, and to repair each of those breaks. Go for it, homie. But you're doing the math, not me.
I just recently found out about a thing that's called cold welding. Have you heard about this?
Mm-mm.
So it's something that really only happens in space. But like two pieces of metal can just spontaneously weld together as long as they're like a clean surface, just from
Yeah.
like it just being no atmosphere and just like the radiation and stuff like that. Just two pieces of metal just suck together. Which is wild to me because they had a door on one of their space. The very first time that they did a spacewalk, and they sent a guy out with like the tube on him and stuff like that, and then pulled him back in. They had that happen on one of their doors, and they were like, "Fuck, we have no idea what this was or how it happened." And then they found out like, "Oh, there's a thing called cold welding. And it's super fucking dangerous." But then they found out that it has to be like clean metal. Like most of the time, it won't happen because the metal that people are being sent up into is covered or it's dirty, so it won't happen. But yeah, just a thing that can happen, which is wild to me.
Yeah. There you go. So let's look at some of the dungeon sphere.
Oh, I will say that I think that's pretty. One of the things I want to look into here in a little bit is the void prison. They actually gave you a map for the void prison, which I think is interesting. So that gives your player who's stuck in a fucking prison where nobody knows where he is or how to get to him. They can at least do something in there while they're stuck there.
Dude, the dungeon sphere looks fucking amazing.
Look at this. Hold on, dungeon sphere.
The dungeon sphere is this chapter intended for DM details a dungeon called the dungeon sphere. You can use this dungeon to describe the fate of a character who draws the dungeon card from a deck of many things. This chapter includes suggestion for other ways adventurers might end up in the dungeon sphere, as well as for advice for how to continue a campaign or keep it on track if the party gets split up. that might be worth the cost of admission right fucking there for some DMs, depending on
Oh,
what the advice is.
okay. You were saying Donjon. I thought you were saying dungeon. I was like, what the fuck is it? Where's the dungeon card at? That's what I was looking for.
Don
Yeah.
Don John, do you want me to say Don John instead?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I guess it would be dungeon. Yeah, but like, I was looking for the word dungeon. I was like, where the fuck is this card at?
The Don John sphere,
Oh,
okay?
that's cool, actually.
Yes. The dungeon sphere is too small to be observed from any planet's surface without a telescope or magical aid, but clues to its sphere's whereabouts can be found amongst the stars. If you have a deck of many things, you can deduce the dungeon sphere location by spending 8 hours studying the night sky and using the cards as a divination tool, and succeeding on a 22 AC DC Arcana check to determine the coordinates in the astral sea. Have fun getting there. So the outer surface, the gilded labyrinth, the dungeon core. That's a trip,
Simulacrum
dude.
for a session. I like that. When strange magic
Right.
is at play, a figment of the separated character might appear. Maybe a clone from an alternate dimension offers to help the party rescue the missing character. Perhaps the Donjon spheres, simulation chambers can be used to project a simulacrum of the imprisoned character. That's kind of cool. I didn't even think about that. That's actually not a bad idea.
So the question becomes, though, players, DMs, if it's your usual
That's hardcore.
chaos demon murder hobo, fuck everyone over in how they play that picks this card up, isn't that the perfect excuse to make that guy re-roll his game, re-roll his character?
I mean,
I
yeah,
ain't coming in there after your ass.
yeah.
We've got shit to do. We got a world to save. Much to go. Let's get your chaos demon self out of something you kind of got coming to you. I'll tell you what. After we save the world, we'll
Oh,
come back around to you. But meanwhile, roll a new character.
they
Or
can.
do you force your party into this fear in this whole scenario because of the bad luck of someone picking the wrong card and getting instantly sucked into here?
You could actually temporarily use it if like a player has to be out because it says that they can inexplicably reappear after being in there. So you could
So what's
actually
the fucking point of using it other than as a MacGuffin to oh, by the way, Chuck's gonna be out of town for the next 3 weeks. He picked the dungeon card. He'll be back later.
yeah.
That takes the entire teeth out of that card even
No,
existing.
hold on, because when you come back, there's negatives for being inside of it, which is what I was just looking at, which I think is pretty fucking interesting.
So now Chuck gets fucked over because he missed 3 sessions.
Yes. No, but I just think that it's interesting. But it
Yeah,
does give you the option
fair.
to temporarily remove a person. But like, I really like these marks, like the curse.
Yeah.
So it's like the character can't stop shivering, which is not that big of a deal, honestly. Character, this one's hardcore. Character's vision is limited to a 5 foot wide line, pointing in a single direction. That's fucked. Character gets nauseous near windows or doorways. If the character moves through such a threshold, the character has disadvantage on saving throws for 1 minute. The character is plagued by nightmares of metal constructs. The character is disoriented by wide open spaces and has no sense of direction outdoors. While in sunlight, the character has disadvantages on attack rolls.
Yeah.
So like some of
That's
those
interesting.
are pretty interesting and could like vastly change how a character operates.
Yeah.
I can't imagine though,
That's fair.
like being cursed to be like, oh, every time I walk through a doorway, my character gets fucking sick. Like that'd be awful. Be awful.
Well, it would be
I'm making
funny the
my
first
own
5 or
doors.
6. It'd be funny the first 5 or 6 times, and it would just be a hand wave.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun RP flavoring
I mean, I guess remove
that
curse
can come
always
out of it. Yeah.
exists.
Yeah. Remove curse,
Yeah.
obviously, but a small echo again. Sorry about that. We're trying to figure out what's going on with my shit over here with the update to OBS. All of my sound stuff to default. How does it? Good to see you. Forewarning you, I'm cutting off camera in about 10 minutes for about 15 minutes. I got to take my kid to work, but we'll be back. Yeah, we're just talking about thanks for jumping in. We're just talking about good old the new book. Brand new book came out, and just seeing how it goes.
Oh man, I'm actually gonna get to post this on my YouTube channel, and it's gonna be topical for once. Everything that I've posted has been like a month or two behind.
Look at you go. Yeah.
Look at me.
That's a grizzly thing. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with which one of the filters I got to use on him.
Oh,
I said all of my stuff went to Shiite. Excuse the language, but I'm trying to figure out which one of the codexes is working the best for his side.
I hope I'm not picking up on two different mics. Hold on. Maybe my headset's mic is on.
I don't know. I just killed your sound though.
Hi
I
everybody.
need to bring you back to where you were. Okay. Yeah, you. I'm still here. Hopefully, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
He's a bit loud in volume, maybe. Okay, yeah.
You're a bit loud in volume.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I is. Yeah, you is. So it's a fun book. We're just looking at some stuff on it. I think it's a very good resource. I think it's going to have some fun stuff for the DMs to play around with. Hopefully, again, kind of what I've been saying is number one, don't take it for canon. You must do this. In everything I've read so far, it says you can, you may,
Yes.
you should, but nothing says you must. So take these as inspiration, as ideas, whether you're playing with a deck of many things straight up and needing to fill in, well, my God, what happens when they pull this card? Book gives you some options to have that. But leaning into what I always talk about, if you're not prepared to use it, don't put it in the fucking game. If you haven't read what every one of the Deck of the Many Things cards do, and prior to this book, or now, especially now that this book is here, make sure you know what the book's doing for your game before the deck is doing for your game before you even put it in there. You know, have some fun with it. I mean, I think Josh, you like some of the customization ideas. I don't. That's just me being an old man not looking at him yet. You can absolutely have some fun with some of the lower tier cards. Leave the death card out. Leave the throne card out. Leave some of the nasty cards out there. You know, but are you going to give them the Pee Wee Hut Jr. Deck of the Many Things, followed by the Weenie Hut Deck of the Many Things in a mid level, and then we'll finally give them the Salty Sea Bucket at a higher level?
I would say that it would depend on the campaign. So like if I was just saying, hey, I'm going to run a campaign from 1 to 10, I might just give them the Weenie Hut General deck. Just here's a fun thing just to play around with. But if we're doing a higher level campaign, then we'll give them higher level cards at a higher level, kind of thing.
I guess that's what I was asking. Is it if you're going to use it, is it something you're going to upgrade later? Oh, give me your Weenie Hut Junior deck. You now get a Weenie Hut Senior deck.
I wouldn't upgrade it later. I would wait until later in the campaign to give it to them. Is what I would do.
Yeah, so exactly. If you're wanting to use the deck, if you want to use it early, but don't let it be a recurring thing other than what's in their hands. If you want it to be something super important, and that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Way I could justify that to myself is if we were doing a dimension hopping campaign, because otherwise I'd be like, why do you have more than one deck? I mean, I guess you could be like, oh, it was a 22 card. How would it be split? I'd have to look into that. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. That'd be the only thing I can really think of.
Yeah, and I'm about to head out in just about a couple minutes here, but I do want to leave this food for thought. Holy Somia, good to see you guys. Thanks for dropping in. If you guys want to pop over to Grizzly's channel for about 10 or 15 minutes, I've got to take the kid to work here in a few minutes. Just giving you fair warning. I will be back. We'll finish up our chat. I'm trying to give you the warning now. That's something you need to decide on your own as well, because this book gives you access to the lore that there could be dozens of decks out there. Is your world, are you going to have infinite amount of decks of many things? Or is it something strange and wonderful and unique and you just want one of? Use that as kind of your guiding point as well when you're looking at dropping one in.
Yeah.
Cards appear. Could you have more Soma's asking, could you have just more cards appear in the deck? The deck is a crazy, ridiculous bit of magic. Absolutely. You can manifest a couple more decks. A couple more cards into the deck when they look at it. There's 3 new cards. But are you prepared for them to draw those
3 new cards immediately?
Well, no. Therein lies the rub. How did you give it to them? Did you just give them the 5 cards face down and now there's 8? Or did you mix it in with a deck of other cards and they don't even know it's there to begin with?
Yeah.
The framing of the deck. That's an excellent question, Soma, before I head out. The framing of how you're using the deck, how you're introducing the deck, is going to mean, how are you using it? Is it just here's 5 Yu-Gi-Oh cards, brothers, and one of them is going to kill you, 2 of them are going to be cool, one of them is going to save you, you choose? Or is it a complete mystery? There's so much you can go with it. With Soma, with the old school way, you find a deck of cards, If your party throws the cards away, they just threw away a deck of many things. They didn't know that the cards were even in there until they actually tried to play cards or draw them.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's this huge chin scratcher, and in a bad emergency, I throw a card, nothing happens. I throw a card, nothing happens. I turn over a card, oh fuck, this is bad. So if you're using that thing, then 100%. You have all the flexibility as the DM to add and subtract cards as you want if they're hidden in a big deck. But if you're presenting them as these unique foil enhanced, gold rimmed, ruby and blade, black and white and blazing serpent cards that everyone knows what it is, that's where that's where that could be a problem, in my opinion.
You could use, I guess, because they wrote in, let me get back to the thing so I can get the guy's name, like Oddlizzle or something like that. Hold on, let me find him real quick.
Well, yeah, then and go ahead and talk about how, because all of the things I just said, the book gives you some stuff to use to supplement all of this.
Absolutely.
But whether you use it as inspiration or constructs in your campaign, now you're using NPCs to propel MacGuffins, so you can use MacGuffins that,
yes,
so on and so forth. So it starts getting very kitschy. It starts getting very
so
what is the word I'm looking for? Gimmicky.
Yes, it would be a gimmick. Yes,
This is when you go that far into it, this is no longer a D&D campaign. It's a fun, gimmicky campaign, but that's where I would be cautious as far as writing. But hey, guys, I'm going to step away for just a second. Thank you. You'll be staring at my blank screen for a little bit over on my side. Jump on over with Grizzly Tenphone over on his side and keep the chat going. I should be back in about 15 minutes. We'll see you guys in a second.
Okay. So what I was actually going to say for that one is that one of the ways that it tells you that you can introduce the deck into your campaign is through a mysterious fairy market. It's in chapter 14 if you want to use it. It's home to a Nilbog fortune teller named Odilwyn, who uses the deck of many things to read the futures of customers. So you can use this as both an introduction of this is the deck into the game, but it says that if the players are willing to perform a service for Odilwyn, he might let them draw from it as well. Or he might even be willing to part with some of the cards. So you could actually use that as a way to give them more cards later on if you wanted to give them stuff. Like if you went, okay, well, it would have to be a ridiculous amount of gold probably to buy some if you were going to buy something. So like here's 10,000 gold and he gives you 10 cards. And then you can come back later on and buy more of them from him if you wanted to. So you could do it like that if you really wanted to just like find some way of introducing more cards. But at the end of the day, it is an immensely immensely powerful magical item. So if you as a DM were like, hey, I'm just gonna add more cards into the deck spontaneously, like even if it was just a standard like deck of many things, I don't see really any issue with that. Like that's your thing to do. I've always been for the like DM to do what they want in a game. I know a lot of players get pissy with stuff like that, but I mean, like, hey, like, you're the DM, it's your world, do what you want with it, But yeah, I don't see why there's any reason why you couldn't just add more. I know that you're over there so much, so you can't answer me, but that's probably what I would go about doing it. Like, I would either give a way for them to acquire more of them, like from the start, or just MacGuffin it in, not MacGuffin it, just hand wave it in is like, yeah, it's an immensely powerful magical item, so it can do what the hell it wants to. It's so powerful that it proliferated across the multiverse. There's no reason why it couldn't happen like that. Or again, since like now we have Planescape, we have Sigil. I mean, we've always had it, but since it's become official, there's no reason since they can go into other multiverses that you can't go to a different multiverse and get a different deck. Um, I will actually say this. I was having this conversation with Jim earlier because one of the lines in the book says that the deck of many things can be used to determine the denouement of a campaign as well. And I was like, some motherfucker got a word of the day calendar, because who the fuck is using denouement as a fucking word just on the regular? But you can actually use the deck to not just be like a thing of like, oh, this happens and then this happens and then that happens. You can actually use it as something that determines stuff that's going to happen in your campaign, and even like where your ending of your campaign is going to be, who's going to be there at the ending of your campaign. um what's going to happen at that point in time, stuff like that, like so you do like location, like people, um like different like effects that could be happening while they're playing. So like there's definitely a lot of stuff that you could do with it that doesn't just say this is how it is, this is how it works, kind of stuff. The book has done a good job of giving DMs like a lot of leeway to deal with it how they want to deal with it. So it's actually not a bad book. I'm very surprised because like a lot of the stuff that Jim and I talk about on here, like Jim's like old school, I'm new school. So I'm more of a this is a cool thing that we can play with now. I'm not necessarily always on board with everything that's in what they write, but it's more of like a ooh, this is a new fun thing kind of stuff. So there's no reason at any point in time ever for you not to be able to just change stuff how you want to change it. I mean, okay, let me clarify that. Don't just willy nilly change stuff in the middle of a campaign, but as long as like you set it up like that originally, where it's like this is just how the deck works in my world, that's just how it works in your world. Don't just like don't establish that it works one way and then change it midway, but like beforehand, yeah, 100% it could be however you want it to be. So yeah, feel free to refill the damn thing. Feel free to be like, okay, you got the deck and there was only 6 cards in it. Once they use all 6 of those cards, the deck refills because now all of the cards have been used. So now there's 22 in the deck now. There's no reason you couldn't do something like that. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that you can do with it. Um, I'm really interested to like get down and read some of this stuff though, because like reading just some of the dungeons in here are super super cool. Um, like I don't know. Oh, okay. We can do this real quick because I was talking to Jim about this. We have a player right now in our sigil campaign that is playing a rabbit whose whole thing is that he's like a cardistry kind of like magician. He's an illusionist. And I think it'd be really fun because the new feat that they established in this book is something that's called cartomancer. And the here I'll read it out real quick. So the feat is cartomancers use cards as focus for arcane power. So that immediately is cool. You can use a deck of cards or just singular cards as your arcane focus instead of a rod or anything like that. Super cool. Um, so you learn to channel your magic through a deck of cards. You can use a card deck as your spellcasting focus, and you can gain the following benefits. Card tricks. You learn the prestidigitation cantrip and can use it to create illusions and duplicate the effect of stage magic. When you use prestidigitation in this way, you can conceal the verbal and somatic components of the spell as ordinary conversation and card handling. Hidden ace. When you finish a long rest, you can choose one spell from your class's spell list and imbue that spell into a card. The chosen spell must have a casting time of 1 action, and it must be a level for which you have spell slots. The card remains imbued with the spell for 8 hours. While the card is imbued with the spell, you can use a bonus action to flourish the card and cast the spell within. The card then immediately loses its magic. But I think this could be really fun for our one player just because of the card. Oh, Raid! Hi everybody, what's going on? Damn! Hi there, peoples. Nice to see you. My lovely partner right now is taking his son to work, so I'm just kind of chit chatting. Hell yeah! What the fuck? How's everybody doing? I love this. Deadpan Design, Reprobate Gamer. It's a good name. I like that. But yeah, thanks for coming over, guys. If you hang out for a little bit. Oh hell, my damn. Yeah, thanks for doing the raid, Josh. Yes, yeah. Um, it's good. He will be back. I promise. I promise. I'm just running my mouth right now while he's taking his kid to the workplace. He should be back probably within another like 5-10 minutes. Um, but no, we're talking about the deck of many things, so I'm just kind of meh. How are things? I'm doing pretty well. Don't mind my chat lagging. The lady is upstairs at work, so it's taken away from my interwebs. Yes, we absolutely are. Um, but yeah, I was talking about the new what you call it feats that came along with it, because we have a player that is being a magical rabbit, and I think like just the fact that you can use prestidigitation as stage magic now is really fun, where it's just like you can canonically now go pick a card, any card, and it works. Um, not to mention like it says stage magic, so that to me implies that I can cut a woman in half with a saw now. I can put somebody in a box and just saw them in half. So I'm cool with that. I think that's super fun. Um, but I think that like that is a fun feat to give to players because like it's something that builds flavor more than it builds power because like really all you're getting is prestidigitation and you're being able to store a spell for 8 hours, you know. So I mean it's not like insanely game breaking or anything like that. I just think it's really fun. um we also have new spells that we got in here. This is stuff that I'm chatting about because I know that Jim and I aren't going to really go into a lot of this stuff during our chat while he's here. So like spray of cards, right? 15-foot cone of spectral cards. Each creature in that area must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 2d10 force damage and has the blinded condition until the end of its next turn. On a successful save, a creature takes half as much damage. That's not bad. That's actually not bad. Um, to yeah, you get free blinding. Antagonize, which I think is fun. Whisper magical words that antagonize one creature. Oh, they actually gave us taunt. The target must make a wisdom saving throw on a failed save. The target. That's really funny because Jim and I were actually just talking about the fact that like there is no taunt within D&D, not really. So like to use that as a spell, it's not bad. Failed save. The target takes 44 psychic damage. It must immediately use its reaction to make a melee attack against another creature of your choice. As you can see, if the target can't make this attack, for example, because there is no one within its range or because its reaction is unavailable, the target instead has disadvantage on the next attack roll. Ooh, that's actually fucking awesome. It's a third level spell. That is not bad. I dig that hard. And the fourth level spell, Spirits of Death. Uh, you can call forth a spirit that embodies death. The spirit manifests in an unoccupied space you can see within range and uses the Reaper Spirit stat block. The spirit disappears when it's reduced to 0 hit points or when the spell ends. The spirit is an ally to you and your companions in combat. The spirit shares your initiative count and takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands, no action required by you. If you don't issue the spirit any commands, it takes the dodge action. That's super fucking cool too. Ooh. I really need to look at a lot of this like offline because I just got this today. I did the whole thing of like, oh, I'm gonna pre-order this and I'm gonna get it early and this whole thing like that. But then Wizards hates my freedom, I guess, because they were like, sorry, you're not getting any of this stuff until we ship the physical copy of this to you. And because they pushed it back until December, like I had to go buy it a second time. Woo! Thank you there. I appreciate you, sir. Mr. DB Gibson. Is that like Dragon Ball? I will talk to you about nerd shit. Oh man, you immediately become number one on my subscribers for this month because nobody has subscribed to me this month. So that's super awesome. Thank you. Oh, that means I need to go beat my girlfriend up. That's not a real thing. That's not a real thing. But no, she's supposed to be my number one fan. But no, thanks, sir. I appreciate it. Um, but no, I I really need to read more of this book because I just got it today because of all that nonsense. Because I was hoping that they were going to give me my code before any of this stuff happened. So I now have bought this book twice. Um, my dedication to D&D is real. Uh, but I actually have had a physical copy of the deck of many things for a while now. A few people actually sell them. So I'm really looking forward to getting this just to see how it compares to the one that I already have. Because the one that I have is some fucking wear. I'd have to go find it, but it's like silver details around the edges of it. The really nice card stock. It's very nice. I'll see if I can find it so that next time we do our chat, I can show it to people. And then maybe by next month when they finally deliver the physical fucking versions of this thing, I can show people the compare and contrast of them. That could be kind of cool. Guri-sama is the one. She's the one that needs to do her due diligence and do her subscribbles. Um, man, Jim is taking forever. I was expecting for him to be back by now. Um, it is what it is. I know he's got to take his son to work, so I'm not like that big. It's not that big of a deal. He'll be back in just a second though. Thanks for the raid though, guys. I see everybody's kind of pittering out, but I appreciate it. It's super awesome of you guys to take the time out and come over here and show me some support, show me some love. I really appreciate it. As somebody that doesn't have like a huge following of people, it means a lot to me. It really does. Um, so I appreciate it. Very all the love, all the love. um But anyways, let's see what else we can look at while we're waiting on Jimothy to come back. Because yeah, I just wanted to go over like some of the player stuff while we were waiting. Oh man, my dumbass! I clicked into all of those spells to go look at them, and they're literally listed underneath it. Oh my god, Sage of Destiny's table provides narrative ideas inspired by the deck of many things you can do. Oh, that's kind of cool. So this is actually one of the things that I was talking about earlier, where it was talking about how you can use the deck to not just be like immediate, like, oh, your character gets sucked into another dimension, or you get a keep, but it can like influence your game. So I didn't know they actually had a table on here because I haven't gotten this far into it. That's kind of cool. Heroic tie. You're once born a member of the order. Oh, okay. So this is like for actually building your characters. You can pull from the deck in order to get like background information and stuff like that. A fortune teller warns you you're destined to cause great destruction, which you're trying to avoid. Oh, that's cool. That's actually really cool. I like that as like an idea. Um. Oh, Jim and I are definitely gonna have to talk about this whenever he comes in here. Oh, that's actually fun too, because like even though like they're not really giving the physical cards to people, if you just get the digital version, it does look like they have them as like printout options. So if you really just wanted to print out the cards, or you can do like a standard deck, ace, king, queen, jack, all the face cards. Apparently twos they're using now, so they can make up the 22 plus the jokers. Um, but yeah, uh, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this thing goes and like seeing how people use it to like make new characters and stuff like that. Because like I think like a lot of people don't really talk about like how like your characters are special. Like I know that like it's kind of like on the nose of like, oh, we're all heroes and stuff like that, but like you as a main character, let's say, like you are a main character for a reason. You're not like everybody else in the world. So like stuff like this where it is like a fortune teller gave you some information about your life going forward as like oh shit, like I could be a problem. That can inform how you play your character. You could be afraid to do certain things, or you could use that as I became a paladin of of tears so that I could bring justice to people instead of like so like you can really use this thing to like inform how you play your character going forward. So I'm very that's super awesome. Um, they yeah I love this. Like it's actually not a bad book. Like I'm very surprised given like how a lot of previous stuff has gone for 5e that they've done such a good job with this one. I'm not saying that like everything they've ever put out is bad or anything like that, but it's just like a lot of the stuff like within the past I've just fully ignored because I did not give a damn about it. Planescape, we were already playing Planescape like literally tomorrow night is our Planescape game. We've been playing Planescape for I don't know months now. Um, so I mean, like Jim is an old school DM, so like I had access to stuff that people we're literally playing in Greyhawk right now for our Tuesday campaigns. And if you actually look at like in the book, it's like, oh, the deck of many things was introduced in Greyhawk, and that's the campaign that we're playing in. So like a lot of this stuff is very cool, and I really enjoy that they've like given a history of it and like are kind of propelling it forward in a nice way. And it's not like a you have to do this, you have to do that kind of thing. It's like you can. This is an option. Here's how you go about it in different ways. So it's very they've done a very good job with it. Um, man, Timothy here taking 20 minutes for a 10-15 minute drive. He's gonna come back and apologize. I guarantee it. You'll see. I should have asked him to jump on his phone, but that would have been weird. I guess he could have joined the Discord chat and he could have at least been here instead of just his lovely chair and leather jacket. His background is pretty nice too. I need to read. The hell was that? MF1K. I don't know what the hell MF1K is. Uh, Probably some sports ball stuff that I don't know. But ah, I'm really looking forward to our campaign tonight as well. If you guys are still sitting here watching us, definitely come back tonight at like 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing a like kind of a play on Curse of Strahd. We're calling it What We Do in the Shadows of Barovia. It is very much like a tongue-in-cheek kind of like satirical kind of like black comedy, where we're kind of poking fun at a lot of like the horror tropes of like the just the genre in general. Um, doing a lot of stuff like I mean, clearly we're playing off of like what we do in the shadows, doing a lot of Young Frankenstein stuff within it. So like if you guys are fans of just kind of like comedy horror, definitely come back from that. Um, that the lovely Gude Sama here is actually playing one of my favorite characters of all time, even though she's newer at the game. That's her right hand right there, Jerry, the sock puppet. Um, she's playing a very cool character that's a Kinku that uses a sock puppet to talk, and they regularly argue with each other. It's a good time. I like it a lot. Um, but this is one of those things where like I know that we'll never see this in any of our campaigns with Jim though. So it's very fun to talk about it right now because yeah, this will never be a thing that he ever uses ever. Um, Jim's very like old school D&D, guy. So like there's a lot of stuff where he's just like no. Which I mean I respect because like there's stuff in 5e that's very easy to break the game. But I mean, he is good enough of a DM that even if he let us have everything, it's not going to break the game for him. He's got ways to deal with it. Like, there's so many times where we've come to him with like, oh, here's a broken build, and he'll be like, okay, well, I'll just do this, and we're like, oh, fuck. Like the Sentinel polearm thing is one of those things. Where, everybody talks about, oh, I got Sentinel, I got polearm mastery. I can hit somebody that's all that good nonsense. Like stop people like from moving, and he's like, okay, you can do that once a turn, and now all you're fighting are archers. Congratulations. Stuff like that. um so even if he let us use the deck, he'd have some way of dealing with it, especially with like this being where it came from, and the god of or goddess of fate being like one of the big people that's in Greyhawk. Like yeah, it wouldn't happen very very easily for us. uh, Goodness gracious, there's Jimothy, he's back. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You missed my small raid for a second there, Jim.
I had a raid.
I had a raid for just a split second.
Oh yay!
Yeah, one of the guys
Good
came in.
for
And he's like Josh in a chair. I was like, he's real. I promise. Jim is real.
Oh man, I blew a raid. Sorry.
It's all good, man. I'm over here just jibber jabbering about stuff.
You got a bunch of people over there at least, yay?
We're sitting at 6 people. It got up to 14 for like a split second, so that was kind of cool.
That's fun.
I did get a little sub out of it from Mr. DB Gibson, or at least he gifted a sub.
Thank you too. Strong work, Josh. Look at you kicking ass, man. You don't need me.
Yeah. I'm over here talking about nonsense for like the last like 15-20 minutes. Like, yeah, so here's a thing, and telling people about our campaigns going forward and what's going on in it. I took the time while you were gone to talk about like the new player stuff, like the new spells that are here, the new feat that they gave us.
Cool.
They I guess technically have given us an actual taunt spell now, which is you whisper magical words that antagonize one creature of your choice within range. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target takes 4d4 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction to make a melee attack against another creature of your choice that you can see. If the target can't make this attack, for example, because there's no one around or no one within reach, or because its reaction is unavailable, the target instead has disadvantage on the next attack roll. So that's not bad. At the start of its next turn. Successful, the target takes half damage only. But, yeah, so I mean, they've technically
not
given
really
us a taunt spell. I mean,
it's not a taunt.
I mean, antagonize.
It's not a taunt. It makes
choose it to have
an action to hit something. It says the nearest target to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it says you pick. Yeah, it says another creature you pick. It just has to be able to hit it.
There's no such fucking thing as taunt in D&D because it's not a real fucking thing, guys. It's not a real thing. There's never been it's fucking EverQuest's fault. Straight up. They had to figure out a way to gamify the mechanic to make sure that you had aggro, so they put a taunt button on it. Since 1999, for whatever reason, there has to be some sort of a taunt mechanic. It was called positioning.
Yes, fair.
It's called, tanking used to be called being in a good tactical position to make sure that any creatures that go towards your group have to get through or past you first. Now it's like, where's my taunt? I need my taunt. And I'm a warrior main on WoW, and I'm fucking, I live with taunt, baby. I know. I'm just here to say there ain't no taunt in D&D, man.
Yeah, we can talk about like some more of these offline, but I really am a big fan of the spray of cards as well, which is just a cone of cards that you throw at people.
Yeah.
Super fan of that. And then they gave you a spiritual reaper that you can use, which is wild.
A mini death card.
Yeah, they gave you a reaper that you can use. It's got 40 HP. It's got 11 AC, but it's literally using like a reaper like stat block, which is wild. But it's a 4th level spell. If you want to spend a 4th level spell for that, that's on you.
Yeah. It's a themed version of your spiritual guardian spell.
Yeah.
Or
elemental
level.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not bad.
Fun. Like I said, I kind of poked around at it a little bit since we started chatting. I was trying to preserve the mystique, so I didn't come and say, "Okay, fuck this piece of shit because A, B, C, and D."
Yeah,
you know. And like I said, even glancing at it, that would to me be just being an asshole to say, "Fuck this." There's some good stuff in here.
I was actually having this conversation with Sam on the way home. I was like, we're gonna go in here, and Jim and I are actually going to both be like, "Fuck this thing," because neither one of us are big on the deck of many things.
And now we're both like, it's not bad, you know. In context, as long as you understand where the deck comes into play in your campaign, as long as you as a dungeon master have the capability of handling it, and as long as your group's got the responsibility of not letting it sidetrack what they're wanting to do, the deck is a fun tool, and this book is an excellent fucking resource to go along with it. Because it's going to solve those couple of things that you were worried about as a dungeon master. What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? And, you know, if that's your hesitation, this fixes that.
Absolutely.
But go ahead. You look like you're about to say something.
Oh, no. I was just agreeing with you. I was saying absolutely. And while we were gone, I actually found a table that they have in here, which actually is kind of fun, which is you let your players pull from the deck before you ever start playing, and it informs part of their character. So like one of them was like, oh, when you were younger, you got your fortune told, and the fortune teller told you that you were bound to bring ruin to people. So your character has gotten to a point where they're trying everything they can to avoid that. You know, and that's kind of a cool little thing that you can use for your character.
Maybe,
Yeah.
If you're willing to work with your DM and your player on that.
Yeah.
You know, no, because that's going to end up being your paladin who's secretly going to be, you know,
exactly
I'm going for an Oathbreaker like a motherfucker, dude. I'm going to upgrade, and I'm going to break my oath and upgrade to an Oathbreaker, baby. And I'm determined to be, I'm destined to bring ruin. I will do that.
See, I did use a paladin, but I went the complete opposite way. I was like, I'm a paladin of Tyr, so I can do everything I can to bring justice and avoid this. But yeah, I also went paladin though.
Yeah, your edge. To me, that already, I can think of 3 players in my various campaigns that I could see totally rolling that way.
Yeah.
To run with the paladin, to turn into Oathbreaker, to follow the fate of their card. After all, you can't fight fate, so I might as well get good at it.
I mean,
you know, but that's so. If you're prepared for it, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. A lot of these things are going to encourage your player creativity as well. Are you prepared for that? You know, that's going to be my only criticism. It's not a product criticism. It's more an awareness as a DM. You know, especially if you've been listening to me for a while. Preparation is key. Having the information, if not memorized, at least on access to where you know where to look for it and to be able to synthesize it. The more tools like this you put in your campaign, you know, it's key to have access to it, be ready to use it. I guess that's my whole thing. This gives you the tools. It's not going to give you the capability of not allowing this to hijack your table or your campaign, though. There's no book that anyone can publish to prepare you for that, other than your knowledge of your game, your world, and your player's spot in it. That's going to be the caution, the yellow flag I throw up in regards to the deck of many things, and not even the book. The book's cool. Even if you don't ever use the deck of many things, there's some really fucking sweet ideas in here for adventures. Straight up, singular planar type out there on their own, or to even include into to as little one-off type things.
That spherical dungeon that we were looking at, the donjon sphere, that's super fucking cool just in and of itself. Like I was looking through bits and pieces of it. Like one of the rooms is a room that's like a pool that has like a force like spell, like a force wall spell over the pool, and there's an aboleth in it that knows that there's like a control panel so it can get itself out, but it can't get itself out and it doesn't know how to use the fucking control panel. So like when your party walks in, it immediately tries to charm one of them so that it can access the control panel for it to help it escape. Like that's a cool little fucking room. Like, and that's that just little place is a cool dungeon that you could drop in. It doesn't even have to be like this is what this is. Oh, it's the John sphere. It could be, or dungeon sphere, or whatever you want to call it, but that could just be a dungeon that you steal straight up and use.
So this is now all of a sudden we're you guys in 5th edition, guess what? You're starting to get the tools that we used to have back in our day. You're not getting a book that tells you that your players start at level 1 at this place and go through this and this and this and this, and then they get to level 12 and they save the world from this, and then the end of your campaign, pick another book. You're now getting Keys to the Golden Vault, or Journey to the Radiant Citadel. Now the Book of Many Things. You've got and if you throw the Van Richten's other domains in there, that's what, 35, close to 60 unique adventure ideas and locations that aren't tied to anything but your imagination.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, rather than trying to homebrew everything from scratch, you take all of these cool little pieces and fit them into your worlds, man. This is how it used to be back in the day. Because yeah, I'd buy, on a good year, I might get 5 modules that year. On a good year, And to be fair, let's be honest, it was taking us 6 months to play through a module. So there was still a lot of content that I bought back in the day that didn't see play. Same thing now. But having the pieces is key.
No, that's fair. I do have to say that I think that like a lot of stuff has been lost as we've gotten older, and now that we have access to all this stuff, and it's all just like this immediate like serotonin grab for stuff, where we've lost a lot of the, oh cool, we got a fucking module, let's play this thing to death and learn everything about it. We're gonna play it and replay it and replay it, and it's gonna, and like we're gonna mess around with it and change this and change that, and I think we've lost a lot of that like creativity because it has gotten to such a like an instant gratification thing. And I'm not saying I'm not part of it.
It was necessity back in the day because you only had so many books, and if you were a poorer play group, you didn't have but the basic core books and maybe 1 or 2 modules that got played to fucking death.
Yeah.
Keep on the Borderlands and Tomb of Horrors are probably the 2 most played, and X1 Isle of Dread are probably the 3 most played modules in all of history if you were able to track hours played, because that's what came in your Christmas present gift box. Your starter set from Target. Yeah. And you weren't getting more shit coming out online because there was no online.
There was, but it was for rich people and NASA. It was the intranet, not the internet.
Whatever. Late 90s, before it was ubiquitous enough to say you could find D&D resources online.
Oh yeah.
Late 90s. So the first 20 years of D&D was strictly pen and paper, both in play and in purchase.
Man, I saw this video the other day that was from like the mid 80s, and they were talking about like floppy disk and stuff like that, and dude pulled out, like, he was like, oh, this can hold the entire Encyclopedia Britannica, and it was this fucking thing that was like huge. He's like, you gotta slide it in and turn it and pull the casing off, and it's like multiple laser discs, like, so you can save to it. And I was like, wow. It's wild.
That was the shit back in the day.
They're like, oh, and it only costs like a measly like $1,200 for this one hard drive. Goodness gracious.
But yeah, so yeah, tools, lots of toys to play with, lots of fun stuff. And use it for that, guys. Enjoy it. If you must use the Deck of Many Things, this is editorial content. If you got to sissy this damn thing down for your group, then don't do it. Just wait till your group and your style and your campaign is at a better point to really use the fucking deck. Yeah. Just my opinion.
I would agree, and I would also caution to like read. Okay, because again, we've had the deck since 5e started. They've already had like, this is what this card does. This is what this card does. I would actually highly recommend reading this first, as much of it as you can, if not the whole thing, so that you can go. If I'm going to use it, I'm at least prepared for what's going to come. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, highly recommend.
Read this book and read the DM's guide.
Yes.
Or I guess you could look it up in your magic item table, whatever your access is, however your access is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a big caveat here. Is before you use this, know how to use it, kind of thing, because it flat out within like the first like 10 pages of this book, it goes, yes, this can derail an entire campaign. Like so like be aware. Yeah. But it is a good resource. So far I'm enjoying the book a lot. I did tell him about the Dave Newmont thing where I was like, who the fuck uses that word? I think it's funny.
Yeah. Inspirational cards.
Yeah.
Teleportation card. Lots of different stuff. You know, and let's be honest. That's me being an old cadre bastard saying, if you can't use the deck as written, don't use it at all, blah, blah. Take inspiration for it. If you like the idea of it and you want to do something different with it, and maybe you got a big old homebrew world and you're dying for a way to get your party to move around it. Take inspiration from the deck of many things, and whenever they pull up a card, it does a random teleportation to somewhere else. You know?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ways to use the theme of the deck of many things within your gameplay without necessarily having to worry about shipping a dude off to the dungeon planet or having death haunt you forever or giving them a castle somewhere that they have to go find or. So, I mean, as much as I'm like, don't do it, I'm also have to absolutely acknowledge, feel free to do it and make it fit your space in your campaign. If it's something that's important to you or important to your players, that's work. That's more work. And if you half-ass it, it's going to make things so much worse.
Yeah.
You know, this is okay, guys. Let's be this simple about it. You know, in regards to making up items, homebrews, all that kind of shit, right? We got the MCU, and even go farther with comic book shit. And you've got professional people that have access to entire categories of lore and interactive communications that still leave gaping fucking plot holes.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you to think you can improvise your way through a campaign without making gaping fucking plot holes? Who the fuck am I to think that? I'm not. So the who the fuck were you is more pointed to me. I apologize but straight up. Professional, like real life, make millions of dollars doing this kind of shit, can't manage to go through this stuff without making a plot hole. Are you ready to do that?
Yeah.
The more information you have, at least the smaller your plot holes will be. And when you start throwing this kind of stuff into your campaign, whoo, dude, you're just taking a sledgehammer to the potential for your continuity in your world.
Yeah.
If you're giving up on the Forgotten Realms because it's a sucky world and you're going to do a better job world building, okay.
Look,
don't use the deck of many things.
You're just making me think about Scott Snyder now. Scott Snyder, like for a minute, he might still be like one of the biggest DC writers for like a split second, but like man cannot write an ending to save his fucking life. Like, and there's so many times where I'm being like, wait, but what? Huh? Hold on. Like,
so yeah, you know, and engagement in your world and value. This is me opining again because we're getting to the tail end of the stream. At least I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. The more realistic, at least, I mean, I'm not talking nuts and bolts and all that kind of stuff, but the more well-formed the world is, the more engaging it is for the players. And the more they care about the scenario, the more they're into the moment, whether that's killing shit or just chasing fucking possums down to add to their petting zoo. You know, if I'm doing a good job giving the players an elaborate, functional, living world, they're going to respond in kind. So the more logic breaks I have, the more plot holes I have, the more, just go with it I have, the farther removed from engagement my players get.
Yeah.
And then we're back down to just, you know, rule of cool, big old plot holes. Who even cares? How was it? It was fun, but, you know, I mean, we never did anything. because we couldn't because we broke it.
As much as like us as players, a lot of times we'll just be like, shut up, old man. I don't care like how big the gate is. Just let me get into the town. Like whenever whenever your DM takes a time and goes like, this is what a town looks like. This is everything that's in the town. This is this is what the gates are like. This is what the walls are like. You as a player are going to know how that place functions, and you're going to have so much more fun with that place. Even if at the beginning of it, you're just like, I don't want to listen to all of this. 100%. I fully agree with you.
Yeah. And that extends to, yeah. So when your players know that your world, your setting, your adventure is rooted in kind of that kind of stuff, when you take chances with things like the deck of many things, it's a little easier to reel things back in. Because your players will be like, well, the world works this way. Yeah, the card's going to okay, well, so you can have those out of character moments and understand that we're still playing a game and we still want to finish the game. This is a little bit of a funky piece right here, and let's work with it.
Yeah.
So when everyone in the group knows that, man, that's not supposed to work like that in this world. Number one, that's when you know you've got a good world. That's when you know you've built good world with your characters, that your players are involved in and engaged in it. But number two, even though it feels like it's breaking it, you can work with each other collaboratively to see your way through that moment. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the deck of many things, the bag of beans, the Democon of Igwil, the Crook of Rao, all of these crazy extra-dimensional things can fuck your campaign up, or they can really add a lot to it, depending on how prepared you are to handle them. That's not a player thing. That's a DM thing.
It's like the old saying: you get out of it what you put into it. So if you're willing to put in the work, you're going to get a lot more out of it than just kind of throwing it in there willy nilly. 100%.
Because the deck of many things, your players are going to do two things: find it and pull cards. That's it. They can't summon it. They can't. I'm sorry.
Or find it and toss it. One of the two.
Or find it and hide it. Find it, toss it. But yeah, it has no bearing or impact on the campaign until the players choose to find it and interact with it.
Yep.
Okay. They have no choice but to do whatever that card says when they flip it over. If anything, I was initially looking like this. Oh joy, another tool for the players. No, it's really not. It's another toy for them to play with if I put in the campaign. They have no obligation or responsibility to do anything but suffer the consequences or reap the rewards of the flip of that card. It's all you, it's all me as dungeon masters to make sure that that's engaging and playable.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. This is ironic. The more we're talking about it, it's like this is a hell of a cool product to be very, very, very niche.
I mean, yeah. I guess now that you mention it, yeah, because like not everybody's going to use it. It's really kind of a lot of work for them to put into something that, like, I don't know, at best maybe 50% of people are going to use. I guess it's brand new. Probably a lot of people are going to use it.
I think everyone uses a deck of many things at least once in their DM career.
And then immediately regrets it.
I think 3/4 of people never use a deck of many things again after that point.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Well, it's a rite of passage for a dungeon master, man. It's dropping this into your game and watching the hijinks ensue it's at least it was kind of it's an unwritten rite of passage.
Yeah.
This is going to test your improv skills right out the gate. This is going to test your preparation skills. This is going to test the strength of your world and the strength of your story when you put this into your thing. This is a rite of passage. You put this into your game. This is you telling your players, okay, I'm ready for anything. Are you ready for anything?
Oh man. Look, today I was actually thinking, if / when we go back to Sword Coast, I've been 100% thinking as Om's just going around trying to get people to pull the cards, just to see what happens. Not me pull the cards, other people pull them. Pick a card, any card. Just see what happens. I'm very curious about how he would deal with it.
He may be more prepared for it than I am, and maybe be more prepared. Maybe that's the whole thing, is everything was centered around the deck of many things.
And none of us pulled any of them.
And that's why we're floating around doing nothing, because none of us has pulled the cards. I don't want to sell a brother short. Like I said in my stream earlier, I refuse to act or believe that I'm the smartest person in the room.
It is not
if you play like So I'm assuming he's smarter than me and more prepared than me at any point.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I wonder how he's going to deal with it as I'm getting civilians to pull these cards. Like, what happens when a civilian gets their soul separated from their body or
Dude,
gains a level?
I've got 2, maybe 3 sessions left with Chucho, and then I'm rolling with the Bugbear Polearm Battle Master. So I'm gonna be all about you causing all kinds of stupid, crazy shit, man. You know, I'm gonna be there. You little Omps is gonna walk up and say, "Pick a card." His little 2-foot little owl ass, and I look at him, and I'll be standing behind him going, "Pick a card, motherfucker." You know,
You heard what the kid said.
You heard the kid. You gonna make this kid cry? You know. I'm gonna be about backing up every stupid, horrifying, bad play that happens with that Bugbear. I tried playing fun. I tried playing nice. Now it's time to fucking join the Chaos Demons, baby.
Yeah. That's what, like, as much as I play silly dumb characters with our other campaigns, that is my one outlet of pure chaos is in that one. Like, even Cosmar is not pure chaos. Like, even though I'm like knocking over glasses and stuff like that, I'm not gonna go randomly attacking people or like hugging random people or stuff like that.
I think Cos would act exactly like Amsh if we weren't in Ravenloft.
Possibly. Maybe it's just warlocks that do that to me.
Well, because I mean, yeah, I'm not going to go down that trail because we had the Who's Your Daddy yesterday, and I had to admit that I'm not doing a good job running your warlocks. I'm not holding you to a pact. I'm not holding you to any obligation. I'm not holding you to anything that was. I read the introduction to warlocks out of the player handbook verbatim, and there was no less than 6 points where it says players need to be aware of their patron and the obligations of their pact.
Well,
and
I mean,
well, here's the thing with Cosmar, you meta played it.
Yeah.
I follow Tharizdun. He's the god of madness, so my pact is being mad, blah, blah, blah.
No,
Fine, fuck it, whatever. So I blew that one away. If you handle it, you metagame that one to where there is no pact. And it's what we do in the Shadows of Barovia, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Nandor, Najda, and freaking Laszlo are in Barovia. You think I really care about your little wannabe Cthulhu guy? Fuck it. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Yeah.
In that instance, it's acceptable. But everywhere else, it's like, motherfucker, what's your pact? And what's the cost for your pact? What are you supposed to be doing?
And 100% I am metagaming it because like one of those things is like just to cause random chaos, so that's why I'm doing stuff like randomly knocking glasses off of tables and stuff like that, or just doing stupid shit because that's you're on a micro scale me causing chaos.
so just so you guys know, Josh is the if you were in the Who's Your Daddy stream yesterday, Josh is the epitome of the lazy warlock player. Yes. It is what it is. I'm gonna call it what it is.
That's fair.
It's a meta game, single button, super badass. I'm going to be really good at doing this one thing, and I'm going to do the least work possible to have to do it. It's okay. Because I allowed it. I could have said no at any point in time.
That's fair.
So it's my fault for supporting that. Same thing.
Yeah.
You used it as a cool excuse to play a role play idea with no fucking cause, no... You shouldn't even exist as a warlock.
Nope.
The way your story for him. He's not a fucking warlock other than you wanted Eldritch Blast. So you made a cool story to support the story for what you did, and I don't know.
He's actually a warlock specifically because I couldn't figure out a way to justify him being possessed by a demon otherwise. That's the whole reason he's a warlock. Otherwise, he would be any other caster. I don't care about the Eldritch Blasting on him.
Oh, yeah. Reinforcement of my bro.
Yeah.
My bro is reinforcement of the fact that warlocks are a bullshit class. Is what it is.
Oh, I don't disagree. And that's one of those things where it's like
so many great story play and so many great stories and mechanics could be driven through that could be tied into a campaign. But most of the time, the warlocks don't want to do the work with that. If I want to do that, I'd be a paladin. If I want to do that, I'd be a cleric. I just want to Eldritch Blast. That's where they suck. It's not the class, it's not the build, it's not anything other than the fact that there's so much really good role-playing story that never exists because the player don't want to do the work. or the DM doesn't want to support the player's work. That's the flip side of it. I did have a good warlock, Bree.
Yeah.
In our Avernus. She and I spent a lot of time working on her patron, her pact, what the cost of it was, and what she was wanting to work on. So as she was playing her warlock, she was driving forward from that pact. It wasn't y'all's business, except for what she played. Every step of her whole wheeling and dealing as she was getting more confident into that was based on the pact that she and I worked on.
Okay.
You know, so that was warlock. That was a well played warlock who had a lot of flavor because she had a framework to build her relationship and her pact around.
Yeah.
We took the time to build that. I don't see much of that happening, and that's what was our discussion was yesterday. I want to rehash. It was a really good one. Go check out the VOD if you want. We walked all the way around it, good and bad. You know, a lot of the spectators brought some good shit to the table. You know, made me look at things a little bit different. But you know, by and large, it's like, yeah, man. But part of it's D&D's writing. It really is. Because we're looking at it's like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. Like in that aspect, like 100%. If you would have been like, "Hey, this is what I need you to do as a warlock," I'd 100% be down with that. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that's literally just me going, "This seems like a fun thing. I'm picking this." That's really all it is. That's me not even really getting into warlocks that much. Just going like, "This is an idea for a character I have, and being a warlock supports it." That's all that is.
It's an excuse to be silly, and this class supports it. I hear you. That's okay.
What it is.
Dude, that's where you're at in your D&D.
Yeah,
that's where you're at. We all go through phases. You're in the I want to figure out how to be a talking tomato paladin because it sounds dumb and fun and silly because I'm bored of playing everything else. And eventually you'll settle back into playing a human paladin because you know, I'm where I'm at. It's cyclical, it's phasical, man. Everyone goes through the dumbest character idea in the world and try to make it play. If you're gonna play D&D over a significant amount of time, you're gonna end up where Josh is. If you're not there already.
Don't worry.
And if you've ended up where Josh is, you'll end up on the other side of the meat just going, oh, I can't wait till they get out of this phase, but it's okay.
Give me like 4 more classes to get through, and I'll play every class, and I'll go back to my I'm an elf fucking wizard, and that's where I'll stick.
But that's we talked about that with DMs.
Yeah.
Level 1 DM, giant rat in the cellar. Go down there and kill it for your reward. Level 2 DM, help this escort this holy relic across the plains fighting off the invaders until you get to the temple and put the holy relic in place to keep the devil god from popping up. Level 3 DM. Find the 26 fragments of the crystal wheel of Karth Azur scattered across the multiverse, uniting them in hopes of reforming the multiverse into a greater thing. Level 4 DM. You go to the cellar to kill some giant rats for the farmer.
Yep. No, that's fair.
It's no different for players, guys. We're the same way as DMs, man. I went through all of it, and I guess I'll say I'm a level 4 DM. Fuck you. You go to the rat, you're level dick. You can't kill a dragon at level dick. Go kill some giant rats, fools.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
So it's evolutionary, man. It's okay, and it's fun. Yeah. It's fun. Because I get to rely on everything I learned in Phase 2 and Phase 3 as a Phase 4 DM now. I don't have to build a big-ass story for your level 1 ass. You want something more than a longsword? That's why you're killing rats. You're right. And then as they look up, the world's getting a little bit bigger for them. You know?
My monk that I have 1 monk built right now, and I literally built this monk just so I could be a JoJo character. That is all I built them for. Just so I could be fucking... Joseph and go and just do really bad English and just be like, oh my god, like, holy shit, like that's all the whole reason I built them. Like,
oh, that's so funny.
But yeah, so that's where I am. 100% at the make weird dumb shit. But once I get through that, 100% I'm going to go back to my basic. I'm a fucking wizard that's an elf, like 100%.
Yeah.
It's just I got bored doing that constantly, so I went to doing other stuff.
Oh, and as the one opportunity I've gotten to play, I went from hyper gimping a character to make sure that I didn't meta play and I was able to just do nothing but support, to going into a lead role, a little bit more meta build to mitigate damage, to now I'm ultra fucking meta building into absolute havoc machine.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'm going through that little evolutionary sphere right now. You know, it's okay. And if it'll just give me back my fucking bird at the end of it, I'll be happy. I just wanted to play my Kenku Bard, man. You know?
I still have a piece of Echo. We could do it. We could bring him back.
You bring a clone back at level 12, right?
100%. We could do it.
But yeah, so it's you know, finding the deck of many things is one of many tools to add a lot of fun and life to your campaigns, man. But the key part is making sure you got a healthy adventure and a healthy campaign before you drop it in here.
Yes.
That's going to be the big thing.
I would
Go
also
ahead.
say manage expectations with players as well, because this is a thing that can end their characters. You know, this is a thing that could be like, okay, well, now you're stuck in a prison and nobody knows how to get to that prison or how to get you out. That character's gone. Sorry. You know?
Or make sure that you're ready for the 3 to 6 month arc as your party tries to figure that out to get that character out of that prison. Or you give them the special key to get in instantaneously and efficient in a session, then all of a sudden the teeth and the value and the threat and the importance of the deck is minimized to nothing.
Yeah. And
The only consequence is you got shipped off, and then we picked another card up that gave us the key to go get you out of that jail. Shame. So yeah, that Josh is hitting it perfectly well, man. Because if you hand wave too much of it, then you've removed the relevance of it. You know.
Yeah.
So be ready for the consequences of death. Be ready for the consequences of being trapped, moving to a different plane. Be ready for the consequences of your greedy motherfuckers saying, "Oh, fuck. We're going to have to do like 62 more tombs to get enough money to buy a castle, and I got a castle right here. Fuck your stupid story. I'm going to go Lord of my manor. Okay, thanks, bye."
Find it. You know?
But that could be their adventure at that point. Be ready for that as a DM, or be ready for the walk away as a character. What would my character do? All I've been trying to do is reclaim an ancestral home for my people, man. What better way to start than to keep? See y'all, I'm out.
Yeah.
How is that going to affect the stories of your characters? You know, those kind of a thing. You know, and the more you hand wave, the more unstable your world gets, the more plot holes you have in your multiverse, and the less believable it gets. So that's where the deck of many things, in my opinion, can be dangerous to the stories of your campaigns. Campaign ender is exactly it. Because the opportunities or the consequences that present themselves in the deck of many things are so severe and dramatic, if you haven't planned for them, you're going to be sideways.
Yeah. And let's be clear here. If you give them a full deck, every time they pull a card, even if it's good, you are getting a higher and higher percentage that it's going to mess something up. You know?
Yep. It's not like, I mean,
it's more a matter of when, not if. You know?
Probability. You know, this is your Magic the Gathering, guys. Eventually, you're going to draw that land. God damn it. I know I'm going to draw that fucking land. Whoa, where is that land?
Yep. It's going to 100%.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Had to do a little bit of a
No, you're all good, man.
Pick you up at 6. Yeah, no. I gotta leave in about 7 minutes to go pick up my next kid. Man, we're into overtime anyway. That's okay.
Yeah, we can end it here, so that way you can go get your kids.
No, she gets off at 6.
Yeah.
So I got 7 minutes. I got about another 5 minutes to chat a little bit. We can finish up any point now. But yeah, fun book. I'll probably be doing a little bit more digging into it, reading on it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be reading.
I've had so much fucking prep that I've been working on that I've gotten behind on absorbing material.
That's fair. Okay. You're playing a million games of D&D a week, so I mean that's completely fair. It's completely fair. As well as talking about it every day on stream, and you know, so that's completely
good times,
fair.
Man. Dude, I'm thankful for the fucking opportunity to do it. Yeah. I'm sorry?
I'm hoping you don't hit burnout. Like, I hope you don't get to a point where you're just like, I don't even want to look at D&D right now. Like, I'm hoping you don't hit that point.
I try to make sure that I unplug. I mean, I'm not even playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now anymore, just to remove that part of D&D out of my time. I'm playing EverQuest, which ain't much better, much different, old school EQ. But it's so fucking zen. It's slow-paced. It's ugly as shit. I fight something, it takes 30 seconds to kill it. I've got to sit down and meditate for a minute, so I'm watching TV, I'm doing something, I'm not even in my head while I'm playing that game. So yeah, burnout is the only time I get that burnout is a threat is when it doesn't feel like people are having fun. That's the downside of I guess feeding off, you know, depending on feedback and depending on the vibes from my groups. if I'm spending a lot of time putting time into a campaign and then that campaign everyone's groaning, rolling their eyes, fucking off, whatever, that's what starts leading me to burnout. Why am I doing this if we're not having fun? You know.
Yeah.
So as long as that doesn't happen too often, it's really never a threat. And I've got enough wide enough spread of games going and at it long enough to know that it's lulls, man. You know, even if your campaign's going up here, everyone's going to plateau here and there. It might drop a little valley here and there. You can't always beat your next session.
Yeah.
You can't fucking do it. It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
No, that's fair. That's completely fair.
You know, and your players got to kind of go with it and understand that you know you have a flat session. Because guess what? Partly it's their job too.
I don't think that I would want to play a campaign that was all rise either, you know? Like just all escalation. I think that would get tiring for players too. It's just like, hey, can we just climax real quick? Like, you know?
Right? You know, let's get this going. So yeah, I mean, it's having the variety of players, having the variety of games, keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Running the stream, the daytime stream, I love it. I mean, like I said, there's has yet to be a stream where I hadn't gotten some sort of feedback that's either inspired me or made me look at something a little bit different or maybe look up something that I forgot about. It's like, ooh, how about this? Ooh, shit. Note to self, add this for later. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm having a great time with it. I'm thankful for the opportunity to even just generate a couple bucks at a time running sessions for people and chatting about it on Twitch. Shit, whoever thought there was opportunity for a grumpy old bastard like me to make a couple bucks doing D&D?
Yeah. I'm fully like in support of you like building up your stuff too, man. I think it's super cool that you're actually getting out there and getting all this like this building up this following and people are like actually listening to you and you know stuff like that. I think it's super cool.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of fun, but the thing that the first thing that I shifted away from is number one. I don't need to teach. I was leaning back into my teaching history degree on my first dozen or so YouTube videos and my first couple chats. Nah, man. I'm here to interact. I'm here to have a good time.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that's what's grown the stream is. I mean, dude, it's so awesome to go to the restroom, go on my little lunch, you know, hey, I'm gonna grab my coffee, my smoke, use the restroom real quick, and come back and have to scroll 18 comments because they're talking with each other.
Yeah.
That's what means a lot to me, more than even having the follows and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love the follows, love the subs, but watching everyone getting to know each other and interacting with each other in the stream, that's what just gets a grin, dude. It's like, oh fuck yeah, they're chatting with each other as I scroll back up to get caught up. I love it. I love it.
We're gonna have to come up with a community name for your guys. We're gonna call them like Dusties or Crusties or
crusty old bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Oh man, that's funny as hell. But no, I appreciate it, and dude, I appreciate you sharing your time and sharing your channel and space with me.
No,
You know, and hosting all of our games 2-3 nights a week, and you know, oh shit, I'm gonna. Okay,
Uh-oh.
sorry, but
No,
yeah, it's all fun
it's
and
fun. It really is. Like I know that like a lot of times I get wrapped up in like, oh, my Twitch isn't doing super well right now, but like in general it's just fun to do. Like it's a hobby. It's not something I'm going to do for a living anytime soon, you know. But yeah,
hey,
it's just fun in general.
18 months, a year ago, literally a calendar year ago, when I took the buyout, I wouldn't have been sitting there going, I'm going to be a streamer. For me, it's like I'm going to publish my maps, I'm going to post my modules, I'm going to publish all this, I'm going to get crowdfunded and build my world. Every one of us DMs, even though I rail against and shake my fist about the world building and don't build a homebrew, I got a homebrew world. I would love to build a Tal'Dorei. I would love to build an Exandria. I would love to build one of those things that everyone's playing around on. That's the hope and the dream of every DM. But I'm also, you know, realistic enough to know there's only X amount of hours in the day.
Yeah.
How am I going to spend those hours? Being productive for what's in front of me right now, playing with people and meeting new people and all that, or squirreling away on a world map that's kind of in a fantasy world that's kind of derivative of everything else anyway. So how am I going to make mine unique enough to stand out, but familiar enough to be, you know,
accessible,
recognizable? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went through the gambit, but here we are a year later, just having a lot of fun chatting about, you know, everything.
Absolutely. It's a good time. I really do like Twitch. It's just like a general hobby. It's a good time. It really is. It really is. Not to mention it's an excuse for me to play video games basically every day.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, amen. But hey, I do got to dip out of here. I'm gonna have an angry 21-year-old because I stole her car to take the little guy to school, or little guy to work, I should say.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys so much for being over here. Appreciate your patience, and if any of you guys over from my side are still over on Grizzly's side, over on Josh's side, thank you for being flexible. Appreciate your patience as I flop back and forth. Anyone that I haven't met over on Josh's side, it's good to meet you. If you're lurking in the background, feel free to follow either or both of us. Ideally, both of us.
Yes, both of us.
You know, yeah, it's not either or. It's both. Follow us both. Have some fun with us.
Yeah, because you're
Join us for
100% gonna
chats.
come
Join
back
us
and
for
watch us.
sessions.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna 100% come back and watch us for sessions, even if you're only on Jim's side. Come over to the follow suit so you can see us when we go live and play D&D.
Yeah, because he's doing me a solid, man. I'm nowhere near proficient enough with all this shit to try to run a session and maps and DM and run a stream. So Josh takes a big load off for me and takes care of that.
It's fun.
I do got to tip out though. We'll be back here in about an hour, about 2 hours.
Yeah.
With Shadows of Barovia, looking around the ruined wreckage of a bar room with nothing but the corpses of quest givers laying around. Let's see what our party does next.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys then.
Be safe, guys. Thank you for your time.
Bye, chums.